Hello Terraria enthusiasts, my name is James and today I want to make a third part in the video series where I was taking a look at the Terraria Alpha edition of the game, one that got leaked to the public and one that got shown to the public, because there is a big difference there. So today I actually just want to make a singular video talking about one sprite in particular. And now this sprite only actually appears in one place on the internet and then is never shown again. It was completely changed and we now have something completely different. So in today's video, I actually want to talk about the original arms dealer in Terraria and how he looked. But to go over that, I'm going to have to go into the history of this, and I find that to be actually really interesting. So I'll kind of start at the beginning. So back when they were trying to promote Terraria when it was first being released, Blue and Red actually did a Let's Play, a very famous Let's Play, where they Let's Played through the version of the game that they had currently been working on. Now this was the alpha state of the game that was being shown to the public. However, on the flip side to this, there was also a leaked alpha version which was completely stripped back. In that edition of the game, you only had 30 items, we now have thousands, and it only had two NPCs, I believe, the nurse and the merchant, and they looked completely different. Well, there was actually a secret part of the Terraria Let's Play that was never shown to the public until a year afterwards, and then even still it's been buried down in the YouTube archive, but it actually does show this mysterious and rare arms dealer sprite. But once again, before we go and take a look at it, what's actually interesting here is that, as Terraria developed and as these sprites changed, it's interesting to see because in the original Let's Play, they never reach past the Dryad. That's the only NPC they get up to. They get the Merchant, the Nurse, and the Dryad. And even still in that series, the Dryad looks completely different. And in the episode that never got aired until a year later, they're actually playing at the end of April. But when a YouTuber, Paperbat, had the alpha state of the game, when he got his arms dealer 10 days later in the real world, it looked completely different. It looked like the version that we have now, or very similar to it. And this is so interesting to me, because for a brief second, and I'll show you this now, for a brief second here, you can actually see what the arms dealer originally looked like. It's actually really interesting, right? It looks kind of cool. He's got the shades on, he's got kind of comb back hair, he's got one leg, and he's got a nice red chest. So we spoke about this in a previous video, how all of these sprites were actually redone, because when the alpha version of the game leaked to the public, there was such a backlash of people going, well, you haven't even made your own sprites. And that was because the sprites were heavily inspired by Final Fantasy, because at the time they were simply placeholder sprites. They made what they had to make so that they could add it to the game, because as Red said in an AMA like years ago, once he has the sprite, adding it to the game is really easy, but coming up with the ideas and then getting the sprite, that's what takes time. So all of the sprites in the alpha versions that were shown on YouTube or leaked to the public were completely placeholders. And this is the only time that we actually get to see the arms dealer. And I find that to be really interesting. So, like I said, I would usually save this kind of thing for a 50 Facts About Terraria video, but I find this to just be stupidly interesting that there is this one version of this one character that we now know that only appeared once. And the reason why I never actually knew about this for years, by the way, is because the video that you've just, that little clip you just see, that's actually from the pre-episode to the Let's Play. So this was done before Let's Play episode 1 to test all of the audio settings, and it was left unlisted on the channel. However, a year later, Blue actually unlisted it when Red was taking his long break from Terraria to kind of, memorialize that event. So, I never saw it. It's only got, it's got less than 1,000 views, so I know a bunch of you haven't. And it completely just, it piqued my interest. Right, well, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you learned something new. I hope you found something interesting here. If you like what you saw today and you want to see more, make sure to click that subscribe button. By subscribing to ChippyGaming, you're in the one-stop place for all your Terraria needs. Right, I'll see you all in the next one, everybody. Peace.